Facing your fear. What is your fear? We've all got it. I don't think anybody still on this planet doesn't have any fear. What are you afraid of? If you say what you really think. If you are who you really are meant to be. What are you afraid of? If you get up on stage and say, I have a different idea of what God is, of who we are, that we are magnificent, spiritual beings alive and well on planet Earth, and that we can create our lives any way we want. We can have whatever we want by first becoming that within ourselves. And people look at me and say, you are out of your mind. And I go, I would rather be out of my mind than to be in the mind of you. I would rather risk it all for love, for joy, for health, for wholeness. I would rather risk it all. I think that once we pull this fear out, what are we afraid of? And we look at it in the light of day instead of in the dark recesses of our psyche. And we are willing to face it and to do whatever it's keeping us from doing anyway. What's the worst that can happen? We could die. I have a news flash. We are all going to die. And according to Abraham, if we knew what was on the other side, we would all go jump off the bridge. Nothing can hurt us. The only thing that can hurt us are the lies that we make up in our head. I spent decades working on fear. Until relatively recently, my sister and I really believed that we would be bad ladies at some point in our life, and we would be homeless. How weird is that? I mean, relatively recently in the last few decades. But that was just a given. Okay, well, we're going to survive as best we can, and then when it comes to the end, you and I will be bag ladies together because we're going to be homeless. That was just an ingrained fear that we weren't going to be okay. If we stand up straight and tall, what are we afraid of? If we dance our dance, if we live our life, if we love that person that we want to love with no holes barred, what are we afraid of? If we go out, quit our job, and go into business for ourselves, what are we afraid of? Well, it may not work. Well, it may not. But at least we did what was ours to do. And I believe that every step in our life is a step closer to where we are supposed to be. And sometimes we zigzag our way, and sometimes we go pretty direct. But to die with our song unsung, to hold back when we have this understanding of all of the power in the universe that is within us, that God is not only right where we are, God is what we are. And that if we focus on a direction, all of heaven and earth will come together to bring that into our experience. To not do that when we have this much understanding of who we are, and forgive me, is cowardice. To be able to pull back and say, no, it's asking too much of me. You know, we actually have people leave the center because we ask too much of them. I don't think I can ever ask too much of you. I will ask everything of you. I will ask you to leave your smallness behind. I will ask you to leave the fear in the past, or in the future, which is the only place it can exist.